The following presentation is a work of fiction, for entertainment purposes only. Any similarities to real-life events and people are purely coincidental. Do not play any emergency alert system tones on the air or radio waves, such as TVs and radios, as it will cause real-life activations and can trigger mass disruption and panic. This presentation may also contain loud sounds, and the content creator advises not to wear any hearing devices at a high volume. More details in the video description below. The content creator will not be taking any full responsibility for hearing loss complaints, and will not be held responsible for any civil unrest as a result of the misuse of the EAS tones. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is ABC-KOMO-TV Channel 4, serving the Seattle-Tacoma area, operating on a frequency of 556 MHz, on a transmitting power of 1,000 kilowatts. The current time is 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Breaking news and updates. Authorities of King County Sheriff's Office are at a loss of finding out who was responsible for the deaths of two people who were found on the waters of Puget Sound, off the coast of Des Moines, Washington. Upon inspection by the coroners on the scene, they discovered that they were killed due to severe blood loss, which was evidenced by huge bite marks found on each of their chests, with signs of bruising and cuts on their arms and legs. Some people at Des Moines testified to the police that they recalled hearing blood-curdling screams on the western side of Des Moines, followed by distant shrieking sounds. Authorities have no doubt that the attacker must be some sort of a vampire creature. However, there are no confirmation about their theory at this time. The vampire creatures, or vampires, are a being that subsists by feeding on the vital force, generally in the form of blood, of the living, and they originally exist on European folklores. If this was really the case for the deaths of two people on October 17, 2018, then the situation would be pretty much dire. We hope that the authorities will find the suspect soon before it can harm any more civilian populace. We will continue to update you regularly about this situation when new information is available to us. More details about this situation can be found at our website at komonews.com, or can be found on television by channel 436, or on the radio frequency of 566 MHz. In other news, the hashtag #MeToo movement took off in the United States last year in the wake of this.
You're listening to NOAA Weather Radio, station KAD 93 in Seattle. This broadcast was originated from Blaine, Washington, located near the U.S.-Canada border. Station KAD 93 transmits on a frequency of 162.525 MHz, with a transmitting frequency power of 100 kilowatts. The current time is 9:06 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now for the official National Weather Service forecast for the Seattle metropolitan area. Wednesday. Partly cloudy. Northeast winds blows in the upper 20s. Lows in the upper 30s. Winds of over 18 miles per hour. Chances of precipitation. 45%. Wednesday evening. Slight rain showers. Southwest winds blows in the upper 30s. Winds of over 10 miles per hour. Chances of precipitation. 50%. Thursday morning. Partly sunny and cloudy. Northeastern winds blows over the lower. The following message is transmitted at the request by the Seattle Police Department. At 9:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, police have reported 4 people killed in the neighborhood of Madison Park. Authorities are not certain who is responsible for this murder, but medical coroners on the scene revealed that the victims all have huge bite marks on their shoulders and chest, with some signs of physical injuries to their legs, hips, forehead, and arms. It is also reported by an eyewitness that a strange figure had fled the scene shortly after this event. Seattle PD is currently investigating the situation and is advising all residents in and within a 2-mile radius of Madison Park to return to your homes and avoid going outside for the rest of tonight. If you spot any suspicious activity in your area, dial 911 immediately. The following message is transmitted at the request by the Seattle Police Department. At 9:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, police have reported 4 people killed in the neighborhood. The following message is transmitted at the request by the King County Sheriff's Office and the Seattle Police Department. At 11 p.m., authorities have received several 911 calls reporting hearing loud screams coming from the Paramount Theater. Police later entered the theater, only to find everyone inside the Paramount Theater killed, including one critically injured civilian who said, quote, "Vampires. They killed everyone," before losing consciousness and died. The death toll on the attack of the theater was believed to be over 300 people who attended. 70% of the deceased victims have appeared to have the same bite marks that have seen by authorities since 2 hours ago. In addition, CCTV footages in the theater revealed that over 5 figures were seen leaving the theater out into Pine Street, right after 300 people were killed. The figure's initial description was these figures being covered with blood, and bears a resemblance to a human being with different clothing, but they all have pale white skin on all 5 individuals. No further information has been released by the police as of yet. All residents within a 5-mile radius of Paramount Theater are strongly advised to return to your homes immediately. Stay away from the streets at this time. In addition, all motorists on Interstate 5 in Seattle are advised to exit immediately. The Washington State Department of Transportation and local authorities has blocked off the interstate from all civilian traffic within a 5-mile radius, with the exception of civil authorities and highway patrols. Anyone inside the 5-mile radius on Interstate 5 near Paramount Theater are urged to exit the interstate immediately and postpone all travel plans. If you spot any of these people, who have a pale white skin appearance, dial 911 immediately. Do not interact with these individuals, as they could be dangerous. If you must travel, you do so at your own risk. More information and details about the road closures of Interstate 5 in Washington can be found at ws.wa.gov. Continue to monitor this local news station, or other media outlets or sources for more information and updates. The following message is transmitted at the request by the King County Sheriff's Office and the Seattle Police Department. At 11 p.m., authorities have received several 911.
This is KOMO4 TV News at 6 o'clock, here today on October 30th, 2019. We bring you today about the latest and the most major event to occur in Seattle that night. Today at 6 a.m., heavy traffic is piling up in both directions of Interstate 5, all the way to the neighborhood of Northgate to the north, and all the way past Tacoma, rear-ending near DuPont. The reason for this severe traffic holdup because the two-directional 5-mile portion of Interstate 5 between Interstate 5 Washington State Route 520 Junction and Interstate 5 Spokane Street Viaduct interchange was closed off by WSDOT highway patrols, with assistance from the Seattle Police Department. This was done as a precautionary measure, following an incident that left 300 people brutally murdered at the Paramount Theater last night, and was currently under investigation as of this moment. The perpetrators of this incident was these 5 individuals who exited the theater shortly after this incident. They appeared to be human, but they all have their pale white skin tones. What's more disturbing is that they were covered in blood in their mouths, chests, and legs. This led to some speculation by local authorities that they could be vampires, but they do not have any hard evidence to back up their allegations. If you have just heard, an emergency alert system has issued a civil danger warning, and told all residents within a 5-mile radius of Paramount Theater to return to your homes immediately. The theater is closed shortly after this incident and residents are asking the public officials demanding to know when will they be allowed to leave their homes or when will the theater be reopened in time for the Halloween art convention, which will take place at the Paramount Theater. So far, there are no major leads to be found at this time, and we hope they will find and catch the suspects quickly. We have no idea when they will strike again for sure. We now go over to one of our reporters, Lee Stewart Haynes, who is on Pine Street, close to the Paramount Theater, and he's standing directly above Interstate 5. Lee?
Yes, Devin Anderson. I am currently standing on Pine Street, just above Interstate 5, only a few feet away between where I am right now and the Paramount Theater, where as you can see behind me, it is a bit chaotic around here. I see squads of SWAT teams guarding the perimeter area of the theater, and I see several police investigators combing around the site for clues. There are a lot of police vehicles right behind me, and only a few more are coming as I speak. Also present were several journalists trying to get a hold of the story, but their efforts were being slowed down by the police telling them that it was unauthorized to the public. Only news reporters such as myself, with a lot of crewmen here, and including the high-ranking officials, can be allowed here. Although this situation gave me a bit of the creeps, whether if I'm safe to do so at any moment. As for Interstate 5, it appeared to be mostly empty. However, I can see only a few pickup trucks with was labeled as they were from the Washington State Department of Transportation, and it is in fact, highway patrollers. We have no idea what are their motives for the 5 perpetrators to do so to accomplish.
My gut feeling is that they only do this to stop the Halloween art convention that was supposed to take place there tonight on October 31st. If so, then I can't believe they actually did it. Though it might not be too serious, this some sort of an attack has left many of Seattle residents in a state of shock, fearing that whoever did this might strike back again.
That's what I thought so, but we have no idea when will they come back, to say the least. All I can remember is this last year's incident where a young couple of the Watson family were murdered off the coast of Des Moines, Washington since October 17, 2018. Most witnesses claimed that it must be a vampiric attack, and now, it appears that this scene, like the one back at the neighborhood of Madison Park and including this one, it's becoming all too familiar, except it's twice as deadly than I anticipated, with such a high death count to ever reach at this time of year.
I can't believe about it, and I feel terrible about the loss of so many lives that night. But let's hope for the best that these perpetrators will be brought to justice, and we hope you will find anything that might lead to a turning point for the case.
We will try our best, Devin Anderson. We will continue to monitor the situation as much as possible.
Thank you, Lee Haynes. Surely, this scene of the crime must be breathtaking, with lots of stuff going on since that attack last night. As stated before, our reporter, Lee Stewart Haynes, including us, KOMO News 4, We'll continue to update you regularly about the situation as soon as new information becomes available to us. More information can be found at komonews.com. Breaking news. We got a report from local authorities that an emergency situation is occurring in the Alaskan Way tunnel. A massive vehicular pileup explosion has just occurred in the northbound section of the tunnel. This event had generated severe traffic queues, reaching as far as Aurora Avenue, by over a mile long to the north, and as far as towards the West Seattle Bridge and southern Spokane Street to the south. Toll operators told police that the tanker truck had entered the tunnel the moment before they heard a distinct loud crash inside the tunnel. We have no idea how many motorists that died in this disaster, and as of right now, several police cars, ambulances and fire engines are currently being sent to the tunnel, where the situation is absolutely chaotic, just like the one back at the Paramount Theater last night. We got a live feed call from the chief of the Seattle Police Department, Gashton Reed, who was currently on the scene, at CenturyLink Field Stadium, near the southern portal of the tunnel, where the base of operations was located. Chief Gashton Reed, are you there?
Mr. Anderson, yes, I can hear you loud and clear. As you can see, this situation is far more dramatic and pretty much concerning, just like when we were in the middle of investigating the murders of 300 people in the Paramount Theater since last night. As we told them about the emergency response, they told us that the fire was originated at the center of the northbound direction of the tunnel, where many citizens can feel the shockwave all over the Pike Place Market, and some felt the vibrations in nearby areas, to as far as past through the Alaskan Way seawall, and as far as Westlake Park, where we received so many calls about vibrations in that area.
How did they know about it, Chief Reed?
Mr. Anderson, this tunnel features an emergency exit, which also has an emergency telephone and a fire extinguisher. From there, anyone who witnessed the fire must have called it and raised the alarm. The emergency exit doorways are also served as coordinates on their schematics, so this means they can know almost exactly where the fire is, and how they can easily relay the location to us. With the sprinkler systems, it can put any fires, so the fires may gradually become less and less of a threat, but we can only bring a few fire engines just in case. But what we are currently focusing right now is how many people who could have survived and perished, judging by the nature of the explosion, or how bad does this explosion can get.
Did anyone had performed any damage assessments around the tunnel, or any nearby areas such as the Alaskan Way seawall, or the Pike Place Market, or anywhere within the shockwave radius?
In all areas except for the tunnel, these areas only suffered very light damage, but they still need to check any water utilities and drainage systems, which might take some time. For the Alaskan Way seawall, it was under renovation until it was finished by 2017, so I am pretty much sure that it's safe to say that it was in a stable condition.
Are there any people within a shockwave radius injured?
I do not know exactly. However, we received calls from several citizens regarding medical emergencies about their injuries. Some said that they have suffered bruises or sprained their ankles as a result of the shockwave, or only a few people had told us that they also suffered flesh wounds caused by falling shards of glass and debris. Overall, I'm guessing to say that they have suffered minor injuries, and there are no reported fatalities as of yet.
Chief Gashton Reed, since you are here right now, what are you gonna do about this situation?
You did not know. We simply have to enter the tunnel using our fire engines and vehicles specialized in dealing with tunnel rescuing operations, even in zero visibility. We have no idea if the fire's ferocity would be severe enough to hinder our efforts to rescue anyone trapped inside, but we will try.
Chief Gashton Reed, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to cut you off for a moment, because our producers have received an activation of the emergency alert system. Please stand by for an activation of the emergency alert system, and we will get back online once the alert message was finished transmitting. This is Devin Anderson, reporting from the news station of KOMO News 4.
The following message is transmitted at the request by the Seattle Police Department. This is a law enforcement warning. At 9:07 p.m., a massive vehicular accident has occurred at the Alaskan Way tunnel, resulting in an explosion and fire that caused an increase of traffic flow in both directions, to as far as Aurora Boulevard in the north, and as far as West Seattle Bridge and Spokane Street. The causes of this event are unclear, and local authorities will be investigating this situation. All motorists on Washington State Route 99 are advised to take the following actions: avoid entering the Alaskan Way tunnel at this time, as it was deemed too dangerous to travel in these circumstances. The road leading to Alaskan Way tunnel is closed, and roadblocks are erected on a portion of the State Route 99 in the tunnel. No one is allowed to cross the roadblock, or you will be arrested. Additionally, in an effort to combat traffic congestion on State Route 99, Interstate 5 in Seattle is now reopened to all civilian traffic, and motorists can now drive on through this route. However, all exit and entry ramps within a 3-mile radius of the Paramount Theater remained closed, in order to avoid interference with the police investigation, and to minimize civilian casualties, should the perpetrators return. More details about this situation can be found on KOMO News website at komonews.com, or on Washington State Department of Transportation website at ws.wa.gov. Continue to monitor local news stations or other media sources for latest updates and await further instructions. If you are not residing in Seattle area, tune to stations providing news and information in your local area.
Are we back on? Yes. Looks like our equipment is running normally. As you may have just heard, Alaskan Way Tunnel is closed off to civilian traffic on State Route 99, and Interstate 5 in Seattle has now been reopened. However, the ramps within a 3-mile radius remained impassable in order to ease their investigation process. This was good news for transportation and travel efficiency, but only a few things that should be kept in mind, such as the attack of Paramount Theater, and the explosion of the Alaskan Way Tunnel, and also, it includes a major link in the chain, and that was about these 5 perpetrators. These perpetrators who is responsible for the deaths of 300 people are yet to be found, and still remains at large. We still have no clue when they will strike again, but we must remember to remain vigilant, and remember to keep a lookout of anyone with a pale white skin tones, and their strange, suspicious behavior. The fact that is, we feared about the chain of events. The explosion of the Alaskan Way Tunnel, the attack on Paramount Theater on October 29th, the murders of 4 innocent people at Madison Park on October 29th, and even the deaths of the young couple of the Watsons family were killed at Puget Sound on October 17, 2018. In all of these horrific events, we feared that these events may be linked to the perpetrators. Many of us feared that something bad will happen, but we have no idea when if something might confirm our worst fears. Let's hope it won't. If these showed up again, there would have been massive civilian casualties, and the police forces might need all the strength they can get to pull through with this situation. For now though, we have no choice but to put our fears aside, because, as our news reporter in Seattle, it is our duty to monitor this situation for as much as possible and keep you updated, so civilians can know about what was going on, and what to do on this situation. This is Devin Anderson, reporting in on KOMO News 4 TV. Stay tuned to this station for more information and to await further instructions. Those who do not know about the situation can visit our website for more info at komonews.com. Now we can move on to weather forecast from the National Weather Service, and sports at the top of the hour.
Civil danger for the city of Seattle. The following message is transmitted at the request by the Seattle Police Department. At 7:01 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Dr. Jose Park was under attack by two individuals, revealed to be vampiric creatures. Police have identified these two vampires via medical records. The first suspect name is Danielle Riddle, a 5 to 6 feet tall white female, weighing over 100 pounds, has reddish-brown hair with teal eyes, and she was last seen wearing a sleeveless gray shirt, black unzipped jacket, short jeans, and black boots. Her medical records stated that she was born on October 17, 1997, and she was 18 years old at the time of her death on September 11, 2016, where she was shot and killed by a robber at her home in Olympia during a break-in. The second suspect is Ryan Abrahams, a white male, born on July 11, 2001, with red spiked hair and green eyes, 5 feet, 9 inches tall, weighing over 120 pounds, and was last seen wearing a black leather jacket, dark blue navy pants, and white shoes. He died on February 17, 2019 at the age of 17 due to a traffic accident at Spokane, Washington. Police have also confirmed Danielle and Ryan's involvement of the Paramount Theater massacre. The following characteristics of these vampire creatures are: increased strength, sharp white fangs, red eyes, pale white skin, heightened sense of eyesight, drinking blood by biting on their victims in any part of their body, particularly on their neck or chests, sensitivity to sunlight, morphing, and blood appearing on their sharp teeth or fangs and mouths. This is an extremely dangerous situation and should not be taken lightly. Seattle PD is currently being sent in to deal with this situation, and is advising all residents to seek shelter immediately. Board up all windows and doors with plywood or heavy furniture and close off all ventilation ducts and fireplace dampers. Stay away from doors and windows. Do not go outside or attempt to apprehend them yourself, as you may be putting your life in extreme danger, and you may be potentially turned into one of these creatures. If you spot Danielle or Ryan in your area, or if you have a life-threatening emergency, dial 911 immediately. Stay tuned to this station and await further details and instructions.
This is KOMO News 4, serving the Seattle-Tacoma area, on a frequency of 556 MHz. The current time is 7:07 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Here are tonight's headlines. Dr. Jose Park is currently under attack by two vampire creatures, identified as Danielle Mreitel and Ryan Abrahams. Both were killed in 2016 and 2019 respectively, and appeared to have been risen from the dead. The reasons of how they became reborn were unclear, but what we're worrying about right now that it tends to escalate, as police have reported more and more civilians, in or near Dr. Jose Park, were bitten by Danielle and Ryan, and some, who died, turned into these vampire creatures, and began attacking uninfected civilians. They are known to morph themselves from the human form to vampires, and can run faster, jump higher, and have increased strength, meaning they can take on a considerable amount of bullets and can still keep on going. Police have also confirmed their involvement on the Paramount Theater massacre since less than 24 hours ago. The other three perpetrators, who were with them on the massacre, still remained unidentified, and still remained at large. Interstate 90 have experienced such a rampage, as infected civilians with the vampiric disease began attacking motorists on the interstate, triggering mass panic. Seattle police forces are having difficulties trying to deal with the situation, and they fear that they are about to be overrun. In response to this, the chief of the Seattle PD, Gaston Reed, are calling the Washington National Guard to deal with the situation, and they are expected to arrive within 10 minutes. In the meantime, all residents in Seattle are strongly advised to return to your homes and avoid traveling if possible. If you see any of these creatures, do not try to fight back by yourself, as they are stronger and faster than us. The survival rate of yourself against this creature will be as little to none, and you will either be killed by severe blood loss in excruciating pain, or you may or will be turned into a vampire as well. That is one hell of a disease that looked something like a zombie attack, but with evil entities like these vampire monsters, trying to consume the human vital energies of your body, generally by biting and feeding the blood to keep them alive. The only thing you can do is to call 911 and do not do anything else, just stay in your home. Barricade all points of entry, such as doors and windows. Close all vents and fireplace dampers and remember to stock up several days' worth of emergency supplies, such as food, water, clothing, medical supplies, extra batteries, and a battery-powered radio. Use this radio to continue monitoring the situation if the power goes out. Do not let anyone into your home, as any one of these civilians could be vampires, who have an ability to morph between human and vampire forms, and will ultimately kill you. If one of these creatures break into your home, hide in a closet, bathroom, or in a confined space or an interior room. Do not make any noises as they might attract these creatures. Do not panic. Panicking will most likely decrease your chance of survival, and will make the situation far worse. Be prepared to evacuate, in case if a mandatory evacuation is in effect when the situation became far worse. For now though, we will continue to monitor this situation as long as we can, if the situation improves, or if new information is available. We now go on to weather reports.
They're charging through. Open fire! There's so many of them. Fall back now. We need to call the chief. Tell everyone in the city to evacuate now.
The following message is transmitted by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, at the request by the Washington National Guard and city officials. A mandatory evacuation order is in effect for the Seattle metropolitan area. At 7:28 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the 15th Division of the Washington National Guard was nearly eliminated by several hordes of infected civilians, including the formerly deceased figures named Denny Elm Riddle and Ryan Abrahams. The majority of these soldiers, including the commander, were bitten and were either killed or turned into these creatures. However, only First Class Lieutenant Xavier Robinson and 2 other soldiers managed to escape. More and more attacks by these creatures across the city's suburbs had resulted in some people either being killed or turned into these vampire creatures. As a result of this worsening situation, the Washington National Guard is ordering an immediate evacuation order to all citizens from the Seattle metropolitan area. All residents are strongly advised to do the following actions. Residents are advised to prepare an emergency supply rations that can last for 3 to 5 days, such as food, water, extra clothing, medical supplies, flashlights, and a battery-powered radio or television with extra batteries. Use 1 vehicle per family. If you have more people with you, offer them to travel with you. If you don't have a vehicle, or if you are having difficulties with transportation, call 911, and military authorities will help you. Before you evacuate, make sure you turn off electricity, water, and gas. Tie a white towel or cloth to a visible location, such as your door or mailbox, to let military authorities know that you are evacuating. If you are evacuating, head south or east from Seattle. Shelters are being set up south in King County or Challen or Kittitas counties by the east, and Pierce County, south from King County. More details about the evacuation shelters and routes can be found at www.fema.gov, or can be found by listening to a radio and tuning to news stations. Repeating, the Washington National Guard has ordered an immediate evacuation for all residents in the Seattle metropolitan area. Evacuate now. I repeat, evacuate now. Do not wait, or you may be too late, and you might put yourself and others at risk of being killed or turned into these vampiric creatures. Continue to monitor this news station or other media sources and outlets on this dangerous situation.
This is KIT 1280 AM radio, serving the Yakima, Washington area. It's 8:15 p.m. on October 30th, 2019. We are currently reporting about the emergency situation in Seattle, where a violent vampire attack is taking place. The military was successful in evacuating most of the uninfected civilian populace from the Seattle metropolitan area. However, the numbers of the infected are continue to increase dramatically, and military authorities fear that they might breach the roadblocks around the perimeter of the metro area. As such, the Washington National Guard and the United States government, who is aware of the situation, has called in the governmental organization specialized in dealing with paranormal threats, an organization called the Templar Special Unit. It is an organization consisting of elite soldiers who possess an arsenal and weapons capable of fighting against these vampiric mobs. The headquarters location was undisclosed due to security reasons at this time. They are currently being sent to the Washington state, and it is expected that they will arrive in 20 minutes. In the meantime, the Washington National Guard, with assistance from the United States Armed Forces, will be trying to fend off the situation to give the Templar Special Unit time to arrive. At this present moment, several vampire attacks began to spread further north from Seattle at an astounding pace, and was in progress of attacking the cities of Everett, Mount Vernon, and Blaine. It is currently unknown how many people have either fled from these cities or been infected or killed by these creatures. It had all began at Dr. Jose Park in Seattle, where 2 people who were previously killed are Danny Elm Riddle and Ryan Abrahams, have begun attacking the citizens at the park. Danielle Myrtle was born on October 17, 1997, and was killed by a home burglar in Olympia on September 11, 2016, at her age of 18. Ryan Abrahams was born on June 11, 2001, and was killed due to blunt trauma injuries sustained via traffic accident in Spokane, at the age of 17, on February 17, 2019. According to the local and military authorities in Seattle, these two were appeared to have reborn, and the causes of how this happened remained unknown at this time. Some believed that a person, a necromancer, must be responsible, and he must be in Seattle before and during this event. The other three perpetrators who were with them during the Paramount Theater massacre since less than 24 hours ago remained unknown, and are assumed to be responsible for attacking the cities further north from Seattle in Washington. Both of these two suspects who started this rampage are being placed on the FBI watch list, while the other three unknown perpetrators are also placed on the suspect list. These can be found at their FBI website. If you spot Danielle or Ryan, do not interact with them, and hide. If you approach them, you will be killed, and may turn into a vampire.
Hey guys, my name is David RGD. So I'm gonna be honest here. I I'm the first Filipino YouTuber to make the EAS scenario this long, and I have no idea what to say. Although I feel like I'm not the only Filipino YouTuber to make such a EAS scenarios. There are I can see only a few people did this. However, it's only one alert. Mine is I just combined with the more EAS scenarios and alert messages, but this time I added newscast footages and weather forecasts. So it's my first time doing this, even though I'm not from the United States. And I just want to say thank you all so much for making the AES content for over the years that I can watch those, and for inspiring me to make such an EAS scenario such as this. I just first started this career since June 7, 2019, and it's going good so far. So, however, with school approaching, I'm afraid that part 2 may or will not gonna be coming out on my YouTube channel anytime soon, but whenever I can, I'm gonna try my best to work on part 2. But for now though, it's not gonna be likely to be released on my YouTube channel. It's gonna take like months or maybe 2020. I just don't know. Yeah, so school's coming out. I want to say thank you all for making such impressive content of EAS scenarios that make me create my own scenario as well. So this is David RGD. See you later.